Hey everybody, welcome back to Mental Health Monday. I'm John Cothran, founder of Work It Out Counseling. Hey listen, our videos are not intended to replace the therapeutic relationship with a counselor, so please keep that in mind. Now, today, you're getting a rare look into my personal life. My first marriage produced an adopted daughter, Amanda, and a biological son, Michael. Soon after Michael was born, I was reassigned to Germany with the Army. My wife did not want to follow me there and chose to stay in the States. We divorced, and shortly after, she moved without notice, and I lost track of my children for almost 6 years. Some of you may think that's impossible, but this was 1992. We didn't have cell phones, Google, or any of the technology to allow for easy searches. After years of attempts, I finally ended up in the courtroom of a judge who would listen to me, and after the court's failed attempts to contact her, financial support was suspended by the court, which actually brought her out of the shadows. Now, during the time my children lived with her, they endured a chaotic home life until I was awarded custody. And the reason for this series of topics is because Michael had sent a music video titled "How Could You Leave Us" by Nathan Feuerstein to his biological mother and shared it with my wife and I, which left my wife in tears for the emotional pain he must have felt all these years. So today, we're going to talk to Michael a little bit about his experience during those times. So today I'm going to introduce you to my son, Michael. And Michael, what I would like to talk with you about today is about your experience growing up in the household with your mother.
Okay.
So go ahead and just tell us a little bit about that. What was the experience like?
Oh, well, it was all a little bit chaotic and through, a lot of the events that had happened during all of that, bits and pieces of it I've pretty much blocked out. Some parts I don't really like to remember. So there's that, but some of the parts that I do remember, God, there were several times when my sister and I, we would end up having to go to work with her, and at that time, I believe she had worked at a strip club. So having somebody that's 3-4 years old in the back room at a strip club's probably not the best idea for a child.
Probably not.
On top of all of the other issues that she was having with the drugs that she was doing and just the men that were in and out of the house, and there's just been so much that has gone on with that part that it's really hard to just focus on one part of it. I know there was, when we were a little bit older, she was married to this one guy, and there was a lot of issues that went on with him. We were, I think we were living in Kansas City at the time, and they were, always on drugs, not really working and all this other stuff. And at times he would have us go with him in the car to do these deals and everything, and he would have us lay down in the back seat or on the floorboard in the back so that whoever he was talking to get the drugs from didn't know that he had kids in the car with him. So
Wow, that I don't even know what to say to that. But so with those experiences with the men in and out of the house, how did that affect you, do you think?
It's really hard to say, because a lot of the guys, they were only there for maybe a month or two and then they were gone, and she was off to the next guy. Some of the ones that did stay around a little bit longer, I mean, they're, your typical, just drug addict that, just wanted somebody to have next to him and didn't really care about the kids. And, we pretty much had to take care of ourselves. And, pretty much all those times, my older sister was the one that was having to take care of us.
So she was basically having to be a mom at barely being a teenager.
Yeah. There was the one guy that we did have hope for. That was probably one of the best out of the bunch that she would have just constantly go through the house. But he was also not the best in the same aspect, because yes, he had the polite, let's not do this, let's think about things. He'd get upset with us just for, the simple fact of passing gas at the table, but that's
right.
Just common courtesy. If you have to do that, get up from the table, go away. But he was also not the best guy, because he was also going through court and everything because he murdered somebody in a bar bathroom because he thought the guy was gay and was hitting on him.
Okay, that's kind of extreme.
Yeah, and I mean, he ended up passing away in a car crash shortly after him and my mom got together. Anyway, but yeah, that was probably one of the harder people to get over, because he really was a good guy, but he just got into a bad situation and made a wrong decision.
Right.
So
I remember you telling us one time that you used to stay at a friend's house as long as you possibly could in the evenings. So why were you staying at your friend's house as much as you could?
So I would stay at his house as much as I could. It wasn't really just in the evenings. It was really any time that I could go over there. I didn't want to go home because of the lifestyle and the people that were in the house, and I just felt like being at his house around his family felt safer than being at my own home.
Okay. And I also remember another time where you had a little bit of an emotional experience at our house because you smelled something, and it reminded you of a time where you were having to do some things that most kids probably don't have to endure.
Yeah, I can't really remember exactly what the smell was. I mean, it's just one of those things that just kind of hit you. But yeah, no, it took me back, back to a time when, we were living in that situation with, a certain individual that was supposed to be a protector and a father figure, and clearly he was not. So, along with, that part of it, it also brought back, the memories of living in and out of homeless shelters and living in a van and, waiting until, Pizza Hut closed and threw away all of their pizza or food that nobody ate just so we could have some dinner.
Right. So, what is your relationship? Because I remember when you were 12 or 13, you basically stopped talking to your mother. So where are you now that you are the age you are? Because it's obviously been a long time.
Yeah.
Right. Where are you at now, and even thinking about a relationship with your mother?
That's still not a thing. I gave her plenty of time to, try and make amends and just, know in her heart that everything that happened to us was all in her control, and she did nothing. And she still, to this day, can't accept the fact that it was her fault.
Okay. So she's obviously not accepting any blame for herself.
Yeah, I mean, and I gave her an ultimatum. If you want to talk to me, this is what I need. And she did send me a letter, trying to say that she was sorry and everything, but it was not heartfelt. Everything was repetitive. There was just no meaning behind it at all. It was just she wrote it just to write it.
Okay. And one more question: the music video that you sent her by Nathan Forrestein. Why did you send that to her?
For one, I didn't really want to, actually talk to her.
Okay.
I just wanted to show her that there are other people that have gone through this.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a way to show her
it's okay.
Show her the pain and everything that we went through. And she did nothing. So she's supposed to be there as a mother. She's supposed to protect us and watch over us, and she did nothing because her life and what she wanted to do was more important, and having somebody in the bed next to her was more important than her own kids. So, and I sent it to her, and I don't think it did anything for her. It was just something for her to watch, and that was it.
Right. Did she respond?
She responded with, trying to say that she had changed and all of this, and I still can't believe it. She had let me know, that she had changed, and she's doing everything for the better and everything like that. And I simply asked her, if you've actually changed, then where's your husband at? Your husband's going through, mental issues and everything that he has going on, and you pretty much just sent him away and moved on to the next guy. So.
Okay, everybody, we're going to take a short break and let Michael regain his composure a little bit, and we'll be right back. Okay, we're back. Michael's regained his composure, and I wanted to ask Michael, I know you and your sister have a younger brother who is severely mentally handicapped.
Yes.
And I know that a lot of the care for him fell on you guys. Mostly it fell on your sister, but a lot of it I'm sure you still help with. So just kind of talk to me about some of the impacts that had on you specifically with having to help care for someone who is that handicapped.
Well, I mean, for me, it really wasn't that much of a burden or an issue, because I was just helping, my sister out. But I never really had a problem with helping out with him, because he's family. He's your brother. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, with his mental disability, it did put a lot of strain on my sister, because she was a kid herself that now has to take care of another kid, as well as her other sibling that has a mental disability that can't tell you, what's wrong or, what's going on with them. Right. So I know it was more of pressure on her than it was for me. I was just trying to be, the best support that I could to assist her in whatever it is that she needed. Right.
So, how how did that impact you with knowing that your mother was not there to help with that, or at least at the times where she wasn't?
Do what now? Sorry, I lost you.
How did that impact you with knowing that you guys were the ones that were taking care of him and your mother wasn't?
Being so used to it, it was just another day.
Okay.
Unless it was at school, I don't really remember what was going on with him while we were at school. But yeah, no, it was just another day at the house and taking care of each other and making sure nobody got hurt. When there were several times when he did get hurt, but it wasn't severely bad or anything. So.
Right. And I know as he got a little bit older, that was probably a little bit more difficult because his body had compensated for the mental problem with him just being incredibly a strong kid.
Yes. He was incredibly strong for his age, and it just made it a little bit more difficult to try to handle him whenever he did get into a fit or got upset. And like I said, he can't really tell you what's wrong, so right. Trying to help him out with that, it just made it a little bit more difficult because you couldn't really hold him down.
Right.
to try to fix it because you're just so strong.
Right. And what about the times where your mother wasn't there? Because I recall, you've related before that there were times where she was just gone for days.
Yeah. It's really hard to explain, because like I said, most of that I tend to block out. I don't really remember a whole lot from that time. Like I said, it was it didn't really have that major of an effect on me because I was so little. It was just trying to help my older sister out on taking care of everything. We'd have to make dinners and make sure everybody was bathed and fed and everything was taken care of. And then eventually, when she decided to come home, she would come home. And whenever she was home, she was either coming down and off something that she would just be in the room asleep for another couple days.
Okay. How about her, the environment as far as like the emotional environment goes? Because you mentioned chaotic before. So to me that means like, extreme anger or just, a lot of yelling.
There was often a lot of yelling, not only between her and whatever guy it was that she had in the house, but between Amanda and her. She was getting at that age where she's a teenager. She wants to go do things and have fun with her friends. She doesn't want to stay at home and, take care of her siblings. She wants to be a kid.
Right. And
there was just a lot of animosity and fighting back and forth between her and my sister. So.
Okay. So what advice would you give to either a parent or a child that would find themselves in that type of environment in a house?
Well, really with anything with that, if you know that you're going through a problem, and that's a lot of the issues with individuals that have those problems, they don't really think that they have a problem.
Right.
So when they kind of need to take a step back and listen to when somebody's trying to tell them, hey, you have an issue, you have a problem, you need to go get some help. And try and take that advice and go get some help and, do the things that you need to do to make yourself better so that you can take care of your family. Because essentially that's the goal and the responsibility of a parent, is you have to take care of the children and make sure that they're fine. And you can still have your life, but some of your stuff needs to put on the back burner so that you can take care of the kids and make sure that they're good.
Right. And I also know that at this point you have a family.
I do.
Right? And I know that with the environment that you grew up in, with the drugs and the alcohol and all of that, you don't go to those extremes. As far, I know you don't do drugs, but as far as
right.
alcohol, you don't go to those extremes.
No. Just like any adult, I like the occasional beverage. I don't, indulge like I used to, when I was younger. Just turned 21, and it's like, yes, let's party, let's drink, and let's have a good time, because, now I have kids. I need to wake up and take care of my kids, and I don't want to be sleeping and have a hangover all day and feel like garbage.
Right. So, do you think that some of that responsibility for the kids and basically putting the things that you may like to do on the back burner comes from, having grown up to where, the parent was taking care of the parent and not worrying so much about the kids?
Yes and no. There are some times where, just with anybody, you can be a little selfish and, want to have some time to yourself and take care of yourself and give you those things. But, yeah, for the most part, I've put a lot of stuff on hold and didn't do a lot of things because my kids needed to be taken care of.
Okay. Thank you very much for coming in and talking with us. And I want you to know that, Mom and I are proud of you for all of the things that you've done. You're putting your children first, and that's the way that you're living. So you're setting a better example for the kids than the examples that you've had. And I hope that my example, while I know wasn't perfect, I hope that it was, a positive one. And I know Mom does as well.
Yeah.
So that will be the interview with Michael. And what I do want to do is I just want to let the parents out there know that, like Michael said, if your children are behaving in a certain way, if they're not wanting to be home, pay attention to it. Pay close attention to that, because it will tell you if the children feel that there is a problem. And if the children feel that there is a problem to where they don't want to be home, dads, moms, listen. It's important. I've said this before. When people show you who they are, believe them. You don't worry about the words so much. And when children are showing you that you're not safe, believe it. Get help. Do the things that you need to do to help become the parents that are going to raise productive children that are going to grow into productive adults. So, again, we would like to thank Michael for coming in and sharing some of his story with us. And if you like what you've heard, visit us online at www.wiomhc.com. Like, comment, and share on Facebook at Work It Out Counseling and on Instagram at WIOMHC. You can also subscribe to our YouTube channel and catch up on previous episodes. The link's in the video description. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you soon.